Hello everyone, Myzzrym here. Today's video is going to be about the differences between League of Legends jungle and Dota 2's jungle. The differences are pretty significant. That means that a new player coming from League of Legends into Dota 2 might find the jungle changes very confusing at first. That's why I'm going to go over them very quickly. Now, first, in League of Legends you have set creeps camps. That means that you have a horizontal race camp, wolf camp, golem camp, etc. Now in Dota 2 this is not the case. Instead you have a small camp, two big camps, and two medium camp, as well as an ancient camp. The camps are randomized, the spawn are randomized. That means that in this small camp, which should always be the small camp, it will always be here. The small camp cannot, like, for example, move to here. The small camp have 5 different variation of creeps, and what will spawn is actually random. Same for the big camp and the medium camp and the ancient camp. They each have different set of creeps, and it will be randomized every time it spawns. Now, there are several mechanism changes from the jungle creeps in League of Legends and Dota 2. Notice that if I hit this creep, it will follow me very far compared to League of Legends. Still following me, and here they stop about there and still attack me. You also notice that the creep didn't heal when they reset. This is not because I just hit them again, but usually in League of Legends, for example, if you reset the creep, they will heal to full HP in no time, like 1 second, 2 seconds, they will heal. In Dota 2, this is not the case. Each creep is like a hero. That means that they have a base regen, and that means that, for example, I regen approximately 1 health per second, 1 HP per second, and it's the same for them. They will heal, but very slowly. About the spawn mechanism now, this is the main difference between League of Legends and Dota 2. In League of Legends, if you kill, for example, the red camp, they will respawn after 40 seconds. That means that if I kill them now at 15, the camp will spawn at 15.40. Exactly at that time. Not a second too soon, not a second too late. In Dota 2, this respawn timer is set. That means that basically they will check at every minute. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, etc. Every time the minute hits, it will check all the camps, and if the camp is empty, creeps will spawn. If the camp has something in it, they won't spawn. That means that you can also block those camps. If, for example, I killed all these, and I just stay there instead of moving around, the camp will consider, oh, there's a unit in the camp. They don't, the game does not care if it's actually creeps or not, but the fact that you're here will block the camp. The fact that you're too close to the camp, for example, right here, will also block the camp. So be careful at the beginning when you're jungling. Do not do like in League of Legends. Do not go to the camp and wait here that the creeps spawn. You have to be a bit far so you avoid blocking the camp. Alright? Now, you might notice that this allows something called stacks in Dota 2. Because of the set timer of respawn, you can actually attack creeps, pull them away, and in such a manner that at the minute, when the minute hits, the creeps are following you and no more in the camp. This will mean that a second set of creeps will spawn here, and the other set of creeps which was following you will actually go back, and you'll have 2 stack here. I have an example right there that I just did before, and you can see that here you have so many creeps there. This is because I pulled twice. There's actually 3 camps in it. There are 2 big satyrs, there is 1 wildkin, and this is 3 different camps. I can still pull again, for example. I just have to hit the creeps and run away. The creeps are going to follow me, and since they are going to follow me up until here, the camp will be considered empty, and here, you see, another stack. I actually have 4 stack of creeps here. You can do as many as you want. The thing is, the more you do, the harder it will be, because creeps are very likely to bump into each other and actually slow themselves down. So instead of meeting here, they will actually stay there. And if they stay there, it will block the camp. The respawn, I mean. So why do I want to do those stacks? You might wonder, okay, now I have this huge stack of creep. Well, cool, but I can't kill them now because they're like, too many, so they will kill me. Okay. Now, there's something called the pools that I've talked in my earlier video. You actually can combine stacking and pulling. As I said in my earlier video, if you pull this camp, the creeps will actually kill it, and they will meet with the second wave of creeps. And the fact is that when they do so, since those creeps will actually kill this creep faster, they will meet with the second wave and it will make a huge wave. That makes it so the wave will push. Now, if I want it to not push, but instead draw the lane back, I actually have to do a dual stack here. You have two camps, and then I pull. Now you're gonna notice the difference is that the creeps, my creeps, are not going to kill their creep, but it's going to be the opposite. This camp of creep is usually going to destroy this camp of creep, except if I'm actually very powerful, I have much attack power, and then I will kill the creeps. But this is not the case. Usually, the creeps here are going to die. And that means that you actually denied a whole wave of experience to your enemy. That being said, you saw the problem. My tower just died because I did so. This is because those creeps did not go to my tower to defend, and instead are fighting these creeps. You have to be very careful as to when to pull, because you are, of course, gaining experience safely without losing any experience because your creeps are actually tanking, plus you're denying the experience to the other laners, your opponents. But the fact that you're killing an entire wave of creeps means their wave is going to push. And if the wave is already pushing toward my tower and I do this, well, the tower is going to die because you have a huge wave of creeps here attacking your tower, plus the heroes that are attacking your tower. That means that your tower is going to fall, very likely. So keep in mind, if ever your tower is getting pressured, do not do this. Do single pull, do not do dual pull. And also, you always want to do the dual pull when your lane is actually pushing toward their tower. That means that, for example, you have too many creeps compared to theirs, so you know these creeps are going to attack. Next wave, instead, you actually stack and pull, so this wave is going to die. Be very careful, because this is the success between using a good pull and using a bad pull. You will end up with more experience, but you may cripple the lane, and this is not what you want to do. Now for the tree mechanism. In League of Legends you have brushes to cut your vision. In Dota 2 you do not have this, but instead the trees are going to cut your vision. For example, if I hide in this little spot, I have trees to my left and to my right, so I can only see just straight forward. And this is very useful when you want to juke someone. That means that you want to lose someone in the forest. If I hide here, someone here will not see me, someone there will not see me. They will actually go to here to see me. A good idea is to think that if you can see someone, he can see you, and vice versa. If you can't see him, he can't see you. There are two items to destroy the trees and to make paths in the forest. The first one is the Quelling Blade. It's an item used to boost your attack damage to creeps. This is good for farming. You will often see it in melee units, but not in range units, because you can see that there's a differences in the damage boost. Melee units will gain a 32% boost. Range unit will only get 12% boost. This allows you to gain the advantage over your lane by having more attack power, so more deny and more last hit power. So you just use it and click on the tree, and that makes it so you can actually go through here. The second item is the Tango. You eat a tree, and this is basically your health pot. You eat a tree, it heals you over time and cannot get dispelled. So these two items allow you to set up ganks, or actually juke your enemies to run away. For example, if my enemies are here, I can actually eat a tree there and go through here to attack them. Same if I'm getting chased and I'm actually stuck in there. Well, this is a dead end, but if I actually have so many tangos, I can just eat my way through. Here I come. And there I get away. So this you have to keep in mind. If you're chased, keep cool and just use your brain. Use the vision and use the vision block. So if, for example, instead of running straight forward to your base, you run here, you eat this tree, and then you run back the other way. So they will actually get confused, and usually you'll be able to run away. All right. So I talked about stacking, about pulling. Oh, also, there's no scaling in League of Legends, no, Dota 2 for the creeps. That means that this creep has 500 HP, it will always have 500 HP, no matter how much time you spend. And that also means that the big creeps are actually very hard to kill at level 1, and you usually won't be able to. So usually you'll start with a small camp, you go medium camp, you go hard camp later when you can actually kill them. That means that there's also no route, no optimal route to actually do the jungle. You cannot just say, start with Wolf, go to blue buff, smite, blue peel back, buy this and that, and then go back. This is not possible because the camps are randomized first, and second, it depends on every hero. You also can have very bad luck on the spawn. For example, the satyrs here, the satyrs that spawn, are actually not too hard to kill, but those ones, the Ursa warriors, are it's a huge pain to kill them. So usually you want to avoid certain camps. Now, if we go into the metagame discussion, in League of Legends, a jungler is compulsory almost. You have one solo top, solo mid, 2 bottom, and 1 jungler. This is because, for example, there's the blue buff, there's the red buff. And those buffs are too important to just leave away and just go, okay, just sacrifice the buff, let's lane. In Dota 2, there's no such buff. You do not have a buff from killing a red, like a big golem or anything. And thus, also, you do not have the fact that you have to have a jungler. That being said, junglers are often appreciated in matchmaking because it will allow having 2 single lane. And since people do not know each other usually when they go matchmaking, being alone is often better than being with someone you don't know and actually go and, actually try to kill someone and your ally is not following you, so you end up dying because he's actually farming the creeps. So you usually are more careful when you're alone, and this happens in matchmaking also in Dota 2, not only in League of Legends. So in Dota 2 matchmaking, you will often see junglers. Now I want to talk about the items to jungle, because you have 2 type of junglers. You have the junglers that are actually range, and that are summon type. That means that they do not tank the damage. They actually use something to tank damage. My hero, for example, can control creeps. So I control this creep, and for, you see, 1 minute and 20 seconds, it will be under my control. So the creep will actually fight for me, and also, he will tank for me. For those kind of heroes, you want to use the Ring of Basilius, which actually gives you damage, and also mana regen, which is also very needed because those kind of heroes usually use spells to either create creatures or to convert them. And most important is the bonus armor, because those creeps are usually pretty weak, and having more armor means they will tank better. Especially if they have low armor, which is often the case, having +2 armor going from 1 to 3 armor for him is very important, and it actually boosts his survivability very much. Now, something that is not in League of Legends is that the creep I control have abilities. Almost every camp will have 1 creep with ability. For example, I just converted the Wildkin, and the Wildkin has 2 abilities as you see here. It has Toughness Aura, which gives a bonus 3 armor to everyone. So here you have 2 armor from here, 3 armor from him, that makes +5. Also you have, for example, him, a Tornado. And he summons a Tornado I can control. I'm not going to go over all the creep skills because there are plenty. But just know that the creep skills are pretty interesting to use because him, for example, has tornadoes against slow, and others have stun and everything. So use them because this is very, very useful. Now this is for the summon heroes. You also have this item that is basically the blue pot, but it gets cancelled if you get hit. Since you will have summons or other creeps to tank creeps for you, usually you can use them without any problem. You also have to be careful because summons sometimes are weak, so you want to have them to survive, and you have to actually micro them so every summon gets damaged, but none of them die, so you actually keep up your damage per second to kill the creeps. Now for the melee heroes that usually jungle and are actually, tank type of hero, you actually want this item. This is an item that blocks, that gives a passive block, and have, like, for example, 60% chance to block 20 damage. It's actually huge because if you see this little this little wolf here, he deals 28 damage. That means that if you block 20 damage, you only left with 8 damage, and it's a lot. It works very well on the small camp, a lot less on the big camps, because the big creeps usually have a lot more attack damage, for example 52. But this is almost compulsory for those heroes who actually tank and kill the creeps by either abilities, like AoE abilities, or just by auto-attacking them with lifesteal to survive. Like, think of Warwick, for example. Last thing is also, you have something called the smoke exploit. This item actually makes you invisible as long as you don't get near towers, enemy towers, or enemy heroes, or you don't attack. This is mainly used for ganking, but there is something that's different between Dota 1 and Dota 2. That's why we call it exploit, and some people just say it's bad and you shouldn't use it, but in competitive gaming they still use it and it's actually accepted. So why is that an exploit? Basically, it doesn't get cancelled, this invisibility, when I use skills. That means that some heroes have AoE nukes, and they can just sit here and nuke the creeps all day long with staying invisible. The creeps won't move. And this is what's different from Dota 1. Normally in Dota 1, the creeps, if they get damaged, they move. So you can't really farm easily because you will damage them and they can't see you, so they move around, they disperse, and then go back. So it's very long. Here, they don't move at all. So you can just, attack them constantly with these AoEs and they will die. That also means that some heroes have actually better benefits to just kill the smoke camp, for example, and go stack. Kill this camp, stack. Kill this camp, stack. And that means that it will be maybe level 3, while the other will be level 7 here. And then they will buy a smoke, kill the entire stack camp like this one, and they go from level 3 to level 7 instantly. This is a huge wave of creep. If I kill this, I'm probably going to earn more than 500 gold in one go, and maybe gain like three levels in a row. So be very mindful of this. It's not for example, the perfect idea is not to kill the camp, move as fast as possible, kill another camp, move as fast as possible, kill another camp. Sometimes it's better to just wait, stack, pull, and everything. Now, also, since you do not have a blue pill, use this courier to bring items. You buy items that way, for example, and you press F here, and it will bring you the item automatically. You can still continue to jungle, and everything will be fine. Now, I also forgot to talk about the ancient camp. The ancient camp is somewhat like a big camp, but with much harder, much stronger creeps. It will give more gold, more experience, but all the creeps here will be immune to magic. That means I cannot control one of them to tank. And also, they are very, very tanky. For example, this one have 2000 HP. Do not try to kill them at level 1, for example, or anything. It's consider it as a dragon. It does not give gold to all of your teammates, but they're at least as hard as a dragon in League of Legends. Now, very quickly, I'm going to go to the dire jungle, and I'm just going to explain what the layout is. It's a little bit different. It's not symmetrical. You see, there's way less trees, for example. Here's going to be the small camp. The medium camp are going to be here, and the big camps there and there. You can also see that you can easily pull this camp, as well as I could pull this camp. There's a difference between those two because, for example, you can, with very good timing, pull these creeps there also, and in the for the Radiant, you can pull those one here, if I remember well. This is very hard to do. So let's recap. If you want to stack, attack the creeps from point 50 to point 56 at the very, very last time. It will fail if you're too early or too late. Usually try to aim for 51 or 52. This is the safest time. And if you actually get it well, you just run away and a second spawn will, second stack will spawn. For pooling, it's actually at point 11 to point 16, I think, and you pull them here, the creeps will come and they will help you. Since creeps spawn at point 30 and point 00, you can pull during point 11 to point 16 or point 41 to point 46. It's the same thing. Last thing I wanted to talk about is Roshan. Roshan is, as some of you may have noticed, Nashor backward.
Yeah.
This is actually because if I read it somewhere that Ginsu, one of the maker of Dota, the Ginsu's dog name was Roshan. So that's why this little sucker here's name is Roshan and Nashor. Roshan, when you kill it, does not give you a buff like Nashor does.
Enchanting.
He is very hard to bring down, like your Nashor, but something is that he does not give a buff. Instead, he gives Aegis of the Immortal. This is an item you pick up. So, for example, I'm full item, so I have to pick to put one on the ground, and then if I kill him, I can pick this up. This item makes you revive if you ever die at the same spot you died 5 seconds after. Full health, full mana. Think of it as a Guardian Angel, but an upgraded version of Guardian Angel. It is very powerful because it allows you to turn 5 against 5 battles against to 5 against 6, because you will die but you will respawn full health, full mana. Now, when you kill this guy, your entire team will get experience. It will get also gold. This is the same as Nashor. You will just not get a buff. This is the only monster that scales. That means that it will be weaker if you're attacking sooner, but gets stronger if you attack him later. Now, you might see that here, there's something that may be a little odd. You cannot see inside. This is the only brush-like mechanism in Dota 2. It's here and there. You see, if I go there, I cannot see the water. And this is very odd because normally if you have the high ground, you can spot the low ground. For example, if I go there, I can perfectly see here. So consider this and this as brush area. This to avoid having. This is to help people do Roshan, because if you could actually see them from here, there would be no challenge. You cannot ward Roshan as well. If I want to put a ward, it says invalid location. If I put a ward here, it cannot see into Roshan. So this is it, I think, for the jungle video. If I missed anything, please feel free to tell me. As usual, don't hesitate to ask for any request or to make any critic if I messed something up. And thank you for watching. Next video is probably going to be about the items or about, I think, the ward location, which I will talk about. Thank you for watching. See you guys.